Horror fans, rejoice. It is Halloween, but it might as well be Christmas because we just found out that as Michael is going away, Jason is coming back to play. That is right. After a long hiatus, the longest we've ever had to wait for another entry in the Friday the 13th series, at long last, we are getting more of Camp Crystal Lake via a new series on Peacock. All about Camp Crystal Lake, huh? Yeah, things get really interesting here. This is where things have not played out in the way that my mind's eye would have liked, because I would have liked to have picked up with an adult Jason. In fact, Tom McLaughlin, the director and writer of Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, he's submitted all sorts of great ideas for this series that really got me excited. I wanted him to come back because that's one of the strongest entries, and we could kind of cleanse our palate and get rid of some of the more goofy entries like Jason X and Jason Goes to Hell and all that crap. But no, instead, because of this notorious court case, where you have Sean Cunningham, the producer and creator of the original, and then you have Victor Miller, who's going to be an executive producer on this new series. Well, Victor Miller, he wrote the original movie, and that's all he can really play with here. He can use it as a springboard for a new story, but he cannot employ the visual of the adult Jason that we all know and love, and we see as being synonymous with this series. So we can use Pamela Voorhees. We can use Jason's dad, Elias Voorhees, who we've never seen on film before. And we can use that weird mutilated little boy that we saw at the end of the movie. We can use that version of Jason, the one that popped out on Alice, but we can't use the adult Jason we all know and love. So no hockey mask? It's going to be really interesting to see what they do here, especially because they are bringing in Brian Fuller to be the showrunner. And if you don't know that name, well, he actually made the Hannibal series, and he was so responsible for all the acclaim and love and admiration that that series received. That's a fantastic TV show. And so it speaks volumes about the kind of credentials he has and what he could do with this property. And then A24 is going to be overseeing things as well. A24 with Friday the 13th? What? That just doesn't match in my head. And so many of you in other videos have gone to the comment section and been like, Nate, would you rather see A24 do a Halloween movie or a Nightmare on Elm Street movie? Nobody's ever posited anything about a Friday the 13th series, because on one hand you have A24, who likes to go really far out there, get really exploratory, really daring, really artsy at times, and maybe even pretentious. And then you have horror's comfort franchise, Friday the 13th, that is about a whole bunch of nothing. It is just a field day good time where you turn off your brain and you go watch a bunch of dummies do drugs and have sex with one another before they get hacked up by a giant dude in a hockey mask. So those two things don't seem like they go together, but maybe this is going to be a beautiful marriage. A lot of time intersectional ideas work best when it's two things that don't seem to go together, and yet they just do so perfectly, especially when you have someone like Brian Fuller running things. The guy is just not surface level on anything. He's always got great ideas and wants to explore more and probe the deeper questions or the mythos of a series. And you know this if you've seen him talk about horror. I saw him a lot on Shudder's 101 Scariest Movie Moments of All Times. The way that guy talks about horror movies, the way he can look at a film and all of its components, the way everything came together and what it meant to the context of its time and then modernity, the dude is just brilliant. This is a bit of an auteur. So what he's going to bring to this franchise, I do not know, especially because we can't use the Jason we all know and love, but that doesn't mean it has to be bad. This could get really interesting. So much so that I'm like, are we going to be more kind of in line with like Friday the 13th, the original TV series that wasn't so much about Jason, but all these other variations of evil and creepiness? Because that could be effective too, but I think it would really let down a lot of people. So what do you make of all of this? Are you disheartened that you're not going to probably see an adult Jason Voorhees, at least not in the ways that we have in the past, because legally they just can't do that? Are you okay with seeing a prequel that explores more of Pamela Voorhees, and who would you cast for that role? I could be okay with that. Like I said, I would prefer to see Jason. It's kind of become a trendy hipstery hot take to be like, well, Pamela's actually scarier than Jason. When you think about a mother's love twisting her and contorting her psyche to the fact that she would go out and kill in the memory of her son. No, fully disagree with that. Yeah, that's a fun talking point. But the little old lady in the blue sweater will never be as frightening and terrifying to me as the guy we came to explain how he still exists and what he's doing in these woods and how he manages to always show up and just kill us in the most ghastly, disturbing, disgusting, fun as all get out ways. So those are my thoughts on everything. I can't wait to see this. Again, I would love to see this on the silver screen, but I have a Cock subscription, so I will be able to watch this when it comes out on Peacock next year. And because we have now divided the rights, just because we have this series doesn't mean we're not going to get a Friday the 13th movie. We can still very much so get that. And McLaughlin and Cunningham seem to have a really good relationship, so maybe we can still get that jump off from Jason Lives. Who knows? Let me know your ideas, what you would do with this franchise. What is the movie or series you would like to see? And of course, like I always ask, have yourself a great day. I'm Nate for Nate Merflick saying that's a wrap.